Alright guys and gals, it's all the good and bad inside the world of Apple, and there's a bundle of iPhone 5 rumors, so let's get you up to speed with those first. Now everyone is talking about the potential chance of a slimmer iPhone, and the Wall Street Journal is confirming an earlier April rumor that Apple's next-gen phone will use in-cell technology to make the screen thinner. Now the technology integrates touchscreen sensors into the LCD, removing the separate touchscreen layer that makes the whole screen thinner by 0.5 millimeter and also improves the image quality at the same time. The journal also claims production of the screens has already started by LCD makers Sharp, LG, and Japan Display Incorporated. Now a thinner screen could make the whole device even thinner, believe it or not, or Apple could even use that extra space for a larger battery. Yeah, I'm saying give me more battery. Now some reports claim the iPhone is already in production, but a Boygenius report says the device is in the third engineering verification test phase. It's at least 3 months out and has not entered the design verification test phase yet. See guys, try saying that fast 3 times. Design verification test phase, design verification test phase, device first. Your face. Now the report also claims to have confirmed several hardware details, including, not surprisingly, integrated 4G LTE connectivity, a bump up to 1 GB of RAM, and NFC tech as well. And if you still don't believe the parts floating around the internet, an image of the purported front faceplate for the white next-gen iPhone was leaked out earlier this week that again features the FaceTime camera centered at the top instead of on the side of the speaker. And Chinese case makers from TVC Mall are moving forward with their case designs before a phone is even announced. Now I gotta love my people, and this design features a taller phone with a smaller dot connector opening and a headphone jack port on the bottom of the phone like we've seen from leaked photos and specs, but it still doesn't mean this is the real deal. Now speaking of real, how about some actual stories that are really happening and not just pure speculation at this point? Apple recently won a patent for a removable iPhone case that cuts down on background noise, calling it a windscreen design. It's designed to reduce wind noise, air blasts, and other noises. Perfect for my Apple buyers in Chi-Town. What up? And it's also a clever idea, but we'll see if Apple does anything with this in the future. Now, I've primarily avoided all the back and forth with all these patent lawsuits between Apple and Samsung and other companies on this show, but I won't today after a UK judge ruled Apple must display on its UK website for 6 months and also in British newspapers and magazines a published advertisement acknowledging that Samsung did not copy the design of the iPad with the Galaxy Tab 10.1. Now the UK court had ruled earlier that the Galaxy 10.1 was simply not as cool as the iPad. Now take a look at this exclusive. The Apple Byte was lucky enough to get our hands on Apple's proposed ad campaign that makes it very clear to the naked eye that Samsung did not copy them. Now there's also an iPad design Samsung would never have copied. During Johnny Ive's deposition, he referenced an early iPad prototype that was produced sometime between 2002 and 2004. Network World was then able to track down the images of that iPad prototype, even though it almost looked as thick as an iBook back then. It took many of those design cues into a thinner version of the current iPad we have today. Alright guys, on to the quick bites, and the third beta of iOS 6 was released to developers, and there are a few nuggets of info to pull from it. The biggest is that iPhone 3GS users were shown a little unexpected love as Apple has now added the VIP list feature in email and photo stream sharing for 3GS users. You'll also have the ability to adjust the navigation voice volume level in Maps, something that we all wish we could do to our significant others at times, and auto brightness increases gradually instead of instantly, plus iMessage on the iPad now accepts phone numbers, and there's other small improvements as well. And we wanted to update you on Apple dropping out of ePeat. Well, it looks like they've heard the backlash from consumers and governments who would no longer be able to purchase their computers, the keyword being purchase. They have relisted the previously deregistered products just days after leaving it, and the MacBook Pro Retina still remains the only ineligible product at the moment. Alright guys, now a lot of you have also been asking me about my MacBook Air Jordan that I posted on Twitter. You know that one. It's sexy. Well, I talked to my good buddies at decalsformacbooks.com, and they are hooking up the Apple Byte Nation with a 20% off code. That's good until August the 16th. So you have everything from Star Wars to Simpsons to Banksy and cool other patterns and designs. You'll find it here, and yes, you can have a MacBook Air Jordan of your own too. Just enter in the code CNET20 when you check out. See, I'm looking out for all of you. Alright friends, that's going to do it for this week. Send us your emails to the Apple Byte at CNET.com. I'm Brian Tong, and we'll see you next week for another Bite of the Apple.